Hi, it's Mark from Top Local. We're here with Bernie Pawlik, Pawlik Automotive in Vancouver. Recently, again, awarded Best in Vancouver in the Georgia Straight poll, as voted by their customers. How you doing, Bernie?
Doing very well. Yep, proud to receive that award for the 8th year in a row. Quite awesome.
But I think that's, what, 17 times now you guys have won Best in Vancouver.
I think it's 16 or 17 with that and the West Ender, or the Wee West Ender, I think they call it. Yeah. But yeah, it's awesome. It's an honor.
So we're going to talk about a 2012 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. You had to do a starter replacement. What was going on with this vehicle?
We did. Yeah, so the vehicle was towed in, wouldn't start, apparently it wasn't running properly, and died. The story we got was it died. So yeah, brought it in. It needed a starter replacement.
So how did you determine that the starter was the problem?
Well, through a grueling diagnostic process. I'd say grueling. I mean, it's just what we do with every vehicle we work on. We have to take the customer's concerns and look at the vehicle and do some tests. And from the testing we did, we found the starter was dead, which is a bit surprising because the vehicle is not all that old. 2012, it's only 4 years old, 65,000 kilometers, I think, on the vehicle. Really pretty young. Normally, I'd expect some vehicles starters last for 100, 200,000 kilometers, maybe even longer.
So I guess this is a kind of a generic sort of question, but how difficult was it to get details from the customer about what happened to the vehicle?
This is an interesting story because when the customer brought in, he mentioned that the vehicle had been making some strange sort of screeching kind of noises, and just listening to him, I kind of thought, well, that sounds like it's a maybe there was a problem with the belt, screeching noises, belts. Maybe the belt tensioner came off, the belt broke, the alternator wasn't charging, and the battery went dead. Those are kind of things I think about when a customer talks about what happened to their vehicle. But it's funny getting a straight story from people. The more I've been in this business, the more I like to ask more detailed questions, and some concerns are really difficult to try to pin down. And others, people tell you certain things and then they reverse their story, and it's nothing wrong. I mean, it's just the way people perceive things. And I often get a little scared in our business when someone who comes in who's not proficient in English, because even people who are incredibly proficient in English, it's hard to communicate the details sometimes of what's going on. I had a guy, a week or two ago, he said, the moment this vehicle goes up its slightest incline, the temperature gauge goes up and the engine starts I surmise kind of overheating. He said, and he repeated it to me several times, the slightest incline. So we did some work on the car. Nigel went out for a drive, went up a really steep hill, didn't even overheat. So I phoned him back. He goes, oh no, that only happens when I go up Royal Oak Hill, which, if you know where Royal Oak Hill, I mean, that's practically like a rocket ship taking off. It's straight up. I go, well, no wonder. But it's funny how many times he said the same thing. So we get those kind of details where I try to even ask people to trip them up for stuff. And sometimes you go, okay, well, we just work the best we can with the information we've got.
So let's go back to the Jeep. What was involved in changing the starter?
Well, the starter is pretty straightforward. I mean, once we diagnosed it and we determined the starter was a problem, we replaced it. And it's not a really huge labor-intensive job. I'll just share a couple of photos here while we're on it. This is the starter motor from the Jeep. The interesting thing about the starter is it's really small. Now, I haven't put anything to give it any scale, but this starter motor is probably only about 6 or 8 inches long for the total length, which is really quite small. It's also incredibly lightweight too, and it kind of makes me wonder whether that's part of the cause of why this starter failed at a fairly young age. Vehicle manufacturers are always trying to make things lightweight, compact, better fuel economy, performance. So they make things out of lighter materials, but often that doesn't equate to durability.
So what does this vehicle look like?
Oh yeah, so here's our Jeep. This is our 2012 Wrangler Unlimited 4-door, quite a popular vehicle. We work on a lot of these. Excellent vehicle. I've even seen a few of these rigged up at some of the dealers around town with shovels and axes and really set up for the off-road experience. But I don't know, a lot of people, they just see street pavement, but if you want to take them off-road, they're definitely pretty good for that. They're nicely set up for that.
And you have another shot there that was that showing where the starter was in the motor.
Yeah, yeah. So this is another interesting thing, and I'll just share this back again. Just hang on for a second here. Actually, this is actually not the starter. This is I took this photo because I found it very interesting. We, like a lot of modern cars, it has a big plastic cover over the engine. So we pulled the cover off and found the alternator position rather unusually on this vehicle. They've actually mounted the alternator backwards to where they normally sit. That red arrow points to the alternator. And normally, and if you look to the right of that, you see sort of a round piece, the black section. That's the belt, the drive belt. And normally the alternator sits the other way around. That drive belt pulley sits forward, and it's kind of been like that for ever and ever, as long as cars have been manufactured. But on this one, they flipped it around the other way. I guess there was space under the hood and room, and that's what they did. So it's funny looking at the innovations that car manufacturers do. It can kind of set us back on what the heck is that? And that's basically what they did. Works fine either way, as long as it's bolted up and the belt's tight.
So how are Jeeps overall for reliability?
Well, I'd say they're not fabulous. They're actually, to be honest with you, they're kind of one of the vehicles we like to work on because a lot of stuff goes wrong with them. So that's a bit of an honest from the auto repair shop bit of information. But people love Jeeps. I mean, we have a lot of customers with them. People seem to like them a lot. I mean, because they're a unique vehicle. They're capable of doing some off-roading. A lot of people don't, but they like them. And there's more stuff goes wrong with them than probably should. But they seldom break down if you take care of them. We don't get too many towed in like this one. But there's a lot. They're complicated too. It's all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. So there's transfer cases, differentials, lots of other bits and pieces that go wrong.
So basically, make sure that you're maintaining your Jeep regularly, and you'll get the maximum life out of it.
Absolutely, and I mean, expect that you will spend more money fixing it than you would on a lot of, say, a Toyota Yaris or a Honda Fit, but it's a different class of vehicle than that. So, yeah.
So, if you're looking for maintenance and repairs on your vehicle in Vancouver, the guys to call are Pawlik Automotive. Check out their website, pawlikautomotive.com. Tons and tons of information on there. We've been doing these hangouts for a long time. They're seen all around the world. Or you can give them a call to book 604-327-7112. Thanks, Bernie.
You're welcome. Thanks, Mark.